morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's an upper body day. We're going to be focusing on our back and our shoulder muscles as well as our abs today. So for equipment, just like all other workouts, I'll be using my 8-pound dumbbells and my root bands. I'm not wearing shoes because I am not going to be jumping around at all today. And I will be having to run back and forth to the screen because for some reason, Zoom just makes me have a waiting room, but that's okay. Good morning, Carly. Okay, so let's get you guys started on our warm-up. We do not need any equipment involved. We're gonna start off with our hands out to the sides and face our palms to the back wall behind us. We're gonna open up the palms and rotate our hands so that now we're trying to flip the hands the other way, and we'll go back and forth 10 times total. There and back is 1. Seeing if we can get our palms facing behind us, and then as we open and rotate, they should maybe be facing the other way, but I can't quite get there, and that's okay. We'll go through 10, back and forth. This is very similar to the one we do with the band, where we go over and back over our head, which we know we ease into, but you can do the same thing here. So once we're done 10 of those, you guys can keep your arms out to the sides, and we're going to do these little swimmers where we go up and down with these little lifts and lowers. I wouldn't worry too much about counting. These ones are a little bit difficult to count because they're so fast, which is the goal on them. So just follow along with me here now. The idea is to release that fluid in our joints, that burning sensation that you're already starting to feel. And now we're going to flip the hands so that my palms face in front of me, and we'll go back and forth now instead of up and down. So same idea, we should be feeling our shoulders burning a little bit, maybe a lot already, which is the focus. That is what I want to happen here. So we'll go through these, a few more of them, the burn, and then we'll go and swing out, shake out, swing out our arms over and back just to loosen up that burning feeling. Woo! So you guys can roll them out a couple times. And then we are going to stick our arms back above our head into this position and try to hug our shoulders to our ears. And then we'll pull down with our hands, make a fist in our hands, and bring our elbows together behind our back, squeezing our shoulders together, and then reaching above our head, touching our shoulders to our ears, and then pulling down. We'll go through 10 of these total. So we're trying to stretch all the muscles in our upper back on the way up. If you can't quite get your shoulders to your ears, that's okay, but that is something that we could work on, because that should be able to happen, unless your body doesn't really work that way, but most of ours do. And then on the way down, we're trying to pull our shoulder blades down and back to get these muscles in our back warmed up, woken up, awake. We'll go through 10. Okay, now we're going down onto the floor, onto our tummies, into these back burners is what we call these. We're gonna lay all the way down on our tummies here. You can just relax your feet and remember that they are going to stay down the entire time. Thumbs are going to be up in front of us. We're gonna lift the arms. We wanna make sure that we have space over to our sides, and I don't quite have enough because of this wall here, but I'll be out of the video if I'm lower, so I'm just gonna show you guys right here. So we lift and then we'll move the arms out to the sides. As we get in line with our shoulders, I'll start to turn the thumbs down, and then I'll rotate all the way back and try to bring my hands together behind my back, knuckles together. My thumb should be facing my head, and then we'll reach out. Again, hopefully you have enough space. I'm just gonna angle myself so I don't punch the wall. And we'll go through 10 of these total. So we're trying to keep those arms lifted up the entire time, thumbs down, and then the thumbs turn up. We can stay looking down at the floor, legs stay down. We should not be lifting up at all. We don't want to be working our lower back. It is the upper back, your shoulders. This should all be feeling on this one. Now, some of us won't have the mobility to get our hands behind our back like that. Good for you. You won't have to worry about getting handcuffed. Just kidding. This is something that we should work on. You should be able to get your hands behind your back, but if it's not comfortable right away, you can just ease into it as you go through those. So we are standing back up to the top. We have one more that we are going to go through, and ideally, I would like you guys to grab onto your band for this one. We're going to do a band pull apart. So if you're working with loop bands, you can make your long band by looping them together. If you don't have this as an option, you could just hold one, that's fine. And of course, if you have long bands, it's actually better. You can grab onto this. Straight arms, and I'm just letting one side hang down, whether it's the side with a few handles on it or not. We're gonna pull straight across the body, going through 20 reps total. So straight arms, stop before that band starts to go loose, and then we stop before the band starts to come across our chest. We wanna work within that range, trying to keep our arms straight, not bending the elbows. And again, if you're working with this band here, same thing. Going through here. Now, if you only have one glute band, just keep in mind your range of motion might not be as big. You might be stuck, kind of like doing something like this, which is okay. You can't pull it any wider because you probably snap the band. Nobody wants that. So just work with that smaller range. And of course, those of you who do not have bands, you are in our bent over position, thumbs up, pulling those shoulder blades together. So we're going through 20 reps of those total. Once you guys are done, we are going into our first exercise. So I'm going to show you guys dumbbells and band options, of course. We are working with our Z press, which we were introduced to last week, if you guys were here. I'm going to switch my camera down a little bit because this one is on the floor. So we're going to be sitting on the floor in this position. Oh, yes. And we'll be doing a shoulder press here in a neutral grip where our arms are about here. So this is important that we can find a comfortable position to sit in first. So bring your equipment close, whether it's your bands or your dumbbells, they are here, so you don't have to like get up and move and grab them. We're gonna have a seat down on the floor, and I'm strategically having you guys sit in this position as it requires a lot more work in our back muscles, in our upper back, core, lower back to sustain this nice upright back position. And do our shoulder press, which we're going to do. So you guys are working with 12 reps of this press. And I'm going to use dumbbells. Start off in this neutral grip position, and then we press right over our head, going through 12 reps total. Those of you who are not the most flexible or mobile, you might not be the most comfortable in this position. Something that helps is to widen up your legs. It gives you more room to help sit your back straight. If you find you're kind of rounded over like this, your feet might be too narrow, you might have to widen them up. And for the very small percentage of the population that this will never work for, you can always, if you're really uncomfortable in this, add a slight bend into your knees. But the goal is to have those legs straight, toes pointed up, and we press for 12 reps. Yeah. And more now. It's always like freezing cold when we start this. And then suddenly so hot. Okay, so don't go anywhere once you're done. So we're gonna stay down here, doing our Superman with a pull-in. Now, with this one, we've been working over the past couple weeks here with holding something sideways in our hands and keeping it lifted to pull in. We're gonna do the same thing today, but those of you who want to try something else, I'm gonna give you guys the options. If you want to anchor your band in front of you and pull that band in against where it is attached to. So that's a great option because it's going to give us resistance this way on these muscles pulling down. Whereas if I'm holding a band sideways like this, I'm getting a little bit of work here, but it's not going to be working these muscles in the same way as if this band was attached to something and I would be pulling it in. So it is a good option, and if you have it available, I want you to do it. You guys know I have a wall, I have a mirror. I don't really have the most available space to do this. Turned you around before, and I've showed you on my desk play. So you know what's up, but I'm gonna do this one with the band here today. We're working with the same amount of reps, 12 reps total. And if you wanna make these ones a little bit harder today, just back a bit, we'll add that pause in, just as we did last week, holding it in here for 1, 2. Again, really important as we go through these ones that our legs stay down. I cannot stress that enough. Hips down, thighs down, feet down, all of it down. And that way you're not going to be lifting up and putting any extra stress and work on your lower back. Because this one should be feeling in our upper back, the back of our shoulders. We're doing the same thing as we did in that warm-up one. And I asked you guys to kind of pull down and pull your shoulders together. That is happening down here. So we're pretty much hanging down on the floor. I put these two together because We'll just stay down here. We'll get these done. We're going through 3 more rounds total. With these 2, we don't need to take too much rest in between. It can take about 30 seconds, but we'll try to keep it under that so that we can get through 3 more sets in a timely manner. So I'll let you guys start your second set when you feel ready. Those of you who are using bands for the shoulder press, we will have our bands, and this black one's pretty strong. I'll show you with the yellow one. So again, when you're setting up, we want to do that bit of a pelvic tilt. I'll show you guys without my sweater on now. So rather than being rounded like this, we want to take our pelvis and kind of tilt it under so that we have a nice straight back. Back is straight, and then our hips are straight as well, and we're not kind of tucked under like this. So we want to be sitting as upright as possible. And again, if you're using a band, where did I put it? We're going to hold them sideways like this, and then you can go through your press over your head. And if you're using the band, just remember to keep that sideways tension on it. And we'll go through 12 reps. So just as I said, I suggested if you guys want to make the Superman pull-ins a little bit harder to hold it at the in phase there. On the flip side, if you want to make this shoulder press a little bit harder, you can hold it at the top where it's kind of wobbly up there, where you feel a little bit uncomfortable in your core. And so like I was saying, the reason why we're sitting in this position is so that we get a little bit more work happening in our core, and our upper back muscles from having to sustain this position and go through our press. It just requires more throughout here, and it helps if you think about it more as well. If you think about drawing in your belly button, not allowing your back to round at all, keeping it nice and straight. So we'll take that into our third and our fourth set. You guys have 2 more to do. So those of you who do not have bands, you don't technically need to hold something in your hand on this pull-in, but if you do have like a towel or something to hold, it does help because you can create that sideways tension that we have going on in the band here. If you don't have glute bands, you can always use one of these bands, whether you're holding it sideways like this works, or again, it is anchored in front of you for a bit of pull-in resistance this way. So feet down, legs down, arms up, and then we pull in. Now, really helpful tip on this one is to think about taking your elbows and pushing them down into the floor. What that's going to help you do is use more of those lat muscles, your big back muscles that run down the sides of your back, and less of your shoulders and those little rear delt muscles that we do, those rows and stuff that we work, those pull-aparts. So we want to work the big back muscles, which we want the elbows down. So that's something that you can try, whether it's on this set, maybe on the next set, which would be your last one, is kind of driving elbows down into the ground. Whew. We be hanging on the floor. So we'll go through our third and our fourth sets of these 2. All right. So again, a little to no rest in between, 30 seconds. And we'll find this position. So as uncomfortable as this one looks, once you find the right position, it actually is not as uncomfortable as it looks. But if you are finding that you are super uncomfortable in this and like you can't find the right position, like I was saying, widen up your feet really, really helps. The other thing that sometimes helps is to kind of set our hips back, just like we do sometimes on core work. So you can actually like walk your hips back. So you're sitting right on the bottom of those like sit bones, your butt bones, rather than on like the back of your butt. And it just helps you maintain this upright position because you have just your whole hips kind of situated a little bit more forward. So again, something that if you want to try on your final set here, because it is coming up hot, it's coming up next. The last one of these 2, and then I guess we'll get off the floor. So we'll go through 12 and 12 of these 2 exercises, the shoulders, for the back, going back to back, no rest in there. Good job, you guys. How are we doing for time? We are so good. All right, nice work, you guys. So I'm gonna give you one more minute to finish up. I always do this. I always check my computer and it's like 10% plugged in. All right, so take your time. We're gonna give you one more minute to finish up there on these two. Woohoo! And good job. I'm gonna move the camera up because we are up off the floor. All right, so last set, we'll get these in 12 and 12. And then we are moving on to the next two. Okay, so hopefully you guys are feeling good, feeling a little bit more warm and active in your upper body muscles. We're gonna move on to two more exercises. Same style here as we have, well, actually, sorry. Wrong. We have two shoulder-focused exercises together, which means we are going to take some rest at the end of the second exercise. The first one is going to be a wide grip shoulder press. So we're putting ourselves into this wide grip position. Most of the time, I have you guys go here. Today, we're going to be doing a one-arm wide grip standing press. So ideally, dumbbells will come into play here. We want to create this 90-degree angle at our arm. This arm is out and strong. I'm standing strong with my core tight. I'm not arching my back like this. Even my butt helps. And then we will press, and you're going through 15 reps in this wide grip position. So let's start this off. If you want to start off a little bit lighter, I personally find the wide grip harder than the neutral grip, but you can be your own judge, of course. I would start off with this 8-pound rather than going right to my 16-pound. We're going to be doing 4 sets. So even if this first set is maybe a little bit light, that's totally fine. You'll find out when we do this one and when we pair it with the other one, which, like I said, is another shoulder-focused one. So let's go through these 15. If you do not have a set of dumbbells, you're going to use a band. We're going to anchor the band out like this, and then you'll go through that press trying to get that same kind of wide grip position on the arm. So we'll come a little bit lower than 90 degrees because of the way the band is angled, and then we'll just press up one side at a time, keeping that band nice and wide. Woo! So 15 is a burner. And we are nice and strong out in this arm, pressing up over our head. And just my arm kind of cuts off, but I'm kind of coming up and into the center slightly. Okay, so that is our first one. You guys are doing both sides on that one, of course. And then we're going to pair this one with a lateral raise to rear delt raise. So we have a little combo move here. We have the hip hinge that's adding these two together. So we'll be using dumbbells down by our sides. Of course, if you don't have dumbbells, hold on to your band here. We're going to lift those dumbbells up into this T, lower them, and then we'll already be in this soft knee position. Push the hips back, and then we'll open up into a T, lower, and that's 1, and we're doing 10 reps total like that. So yes, it's kind of a sneaky 20, but that's okay. Into the T, over, and lift. And that's 1. So we're doing 10 total. Now, I like this one a lot because we get a little bit of that hip hinge practice, which we want to make sure to do properly. We're pushing the hips back just like we do on our leg days. Anytime we're trying to get set up for that bent over position. So we want to be in good practice there. And we're not coming down so that we're parallel with the floor. We want to be up about 45 degrees. But if you're too high and if you don't come down enough, you're just going to basically be doing 2 lateral raises for the middle part of your shoulder. This part here, that works here. Whereas when we're bent over and we open, we're trying to work more of the back. But if I'm too upright, I'm just going to work this. So we want to make sure to get down into that kind of 45-degree position. And again, the lateral and the rear delt is 1. You are doing 10. So once you are done, we're going to take a little bit of rest here because we do have 2 very shoulder-focused exercises. And you're probably feeling that they're burning and they're on fire. We'll give them about 45 seconds to just rest here. You've probably already started. Now, again, if you did your first set, like I did my 8-pounder, Maybe I found it was kind of easy. You can probably just go right into your second set if you would like. Starting back off, if you want to make it a little bit harder, maybe I want to do both of these dumbbells. This would be really challenging, but I could do it. Just have to kind of struggle and use my breath. And that's really going to come into play on the next 3 sets. So you guys are doing 4 total, is breathing in these. So when you're ready, we'll start our second set, exhaling when we push that weight up. Because we're in this standing position, it is not the most forgiving in terms of using our body's momentum to help this press. Oftentimes what happens is, again, that arch starts to happen in our back. We start to kind of lean to get the weight up. And those 2 things are really bad, and we want to avoid them at all costs. And what really helps that is, first off, the setup, making sure that our pelvis is kind of tilted under like this. You can also squeeze your butt, like actually like activate your glutes. You're trying to work them, squeeze them, and that's going to help you get that built-in weight belt, aka your core, nice and strong. And then when you go through your press, you'll be way less likely to do any of this twisting, and you get more sneaky core working, which we all want. Yes. So you can think about that in your next set or 2. All right, let's do it. Okay, you guys, so working with these lateral raises to rear delt raises. Now, if you're working with bands, what you can do the same thing as we did before. We lift up and then we go down and we lift up. Keep in mind, if you're using just one band, your range of motion, again, is not going to be as big. You won't be able to get up into this full T. So what I might prefer to do is go back to this longer band, this double one, so I can get a little bit more range in each of these movements. And the burns. So again, up and down is 1, 10, and then we rest. And we shake out our burning shoulders. We get ourselves physically and mentally prepared to do it 2 more times. That's what's up. So we'll take some rest. And perfect time to grab water, get that H2O in, which also will help the more hydrated you guys are, the less sore you will feel in your muscles after these workouts, which I know we kind of like feeling sore sometimes, but not when it's too much. And water always helps. Remember I said this, next time you're feeling really sore. So we'll take a little bit of time right now, and then we'll go into our third set, trying to do the exact same thing that we did in our second set. You guys have 2 more rounds of this. So when you're feeling ready, we can go into our third round of our single arm, wide grip, shoulder press. So we'll make sure to have that nice strong setup. If you were not thinking about your core, your glutes or anything like that in your first couple sets, we'll try to add that in now. So drawing our belly button in. See if you can just overall feel this holding tight the entire time you're doing your set there. Again, if you can do that, you're going to be working this the whole time, so you're going to get a lot more benefit out of this one. The core, and you're also going to protect your lower back, because again, that arching and that shifting side to side is you moving through lower back, which we don't want. So squeeze your butt. So we'll get this third set. There it is. Good job, you guys. All right, so we'll do our thing here. 15 and 15. Then we want that strong arm up to the side, which is going to help us promote a strong body. Yes. There it is. So we're working on to our third set of that little combo move, that upright to bent over lateral raise. Oh, the shoulders. So we'll breathe through this third set. Now, you're probably feeling by now that you can actually start to need some rest. As you're going through these sets, our muscles are getting a little bit more tired. So we'll take this time right now. You guys have lots of time. We have 3 minutes to finish up this part here before we're going to start our last part of the strength that will take us right into the ab work on the floor. Woohoo. So we'll take some rest. Deep breaths. You guys have one more set of these two. And all right. Okay, so again, take a rest, take it. We've got 2 minutes, which is almost just enough time to do one more set. So when you're ready, we will start our final set here, going through this press. Again, 15 reps on each side, which for most of us is going to be pretty damn hard and burning and challenging to do, especially those last 5. If for some freak reason you're finding it's a little easy, you know what to do on this final set here. Slow down, especially at the top of each rep. Hold it there and then bring it down. The longer that it takes you to do this set, the longer it's going to be on all of the muscles. So, you know, you want that kind of thing. It's your last chance to get it on these 2. Good work, you guys. Okay, so final set, taking our time. Let's see, guys, just finishing up. Perfect. Ooh, it burns, it burns, it burns. Okay, so we'll give you 1 more minute here to finish up. You guys are already coming to an end. You can just grab some water, hang out, think about how good you feel right now. All right, nice work. So like I said, we have one last part to our upper body strength, although there is a little bit of sneaky core work in here because the first exercise that we are doing are our renegade rows. So these ones are our plank rows, which preferably we will be using dumbbells for. Now, right off the bat, for those of you who have been feeling wrists this week, because we've been doing lots of stuff, we did those crazy push-ups, and then we were doing lots of planking stuff and all that. Great option for this one is to do this in a forearm plank position, in which case you'll want to find something to elevate yourself. I don't have my chair in here, but that would be what I would use to show you guys this option, is just doing the same exercise with my forearms on a chair, on a bench, on a couch, something elevated so that I can still go through this row without placing too much stress on my wrists. So for most of us, that's going to be totally fine, but I want to give you guys that option in case you start to feel them, just because I know from programming these workouts that there's just been a little bit more wrist-focused stuff planking on our hands than normal, and I know that affects people. So what I'm going to do is show you guys this exercise, the renegade rows. Going to be using dumbbells in this plank position, and then we're going to pull in one side at a time, trying to control the hips, rowing in, 20 reps total, 10 per side. Now, again, being on the dumbbell like this with my hand, not the most comfortable thing in the world. I can tough it out because, you know, I've been doing this for a while, but if at any point I don't want to do that, or maybe, you know, it's just not comfortable for you, whatever it is, you can put your hands beside the dumbbells like this, and then just pull in one at a time and have your hands in the plank. Like I was saying, again, the wrists or something, we'll go on our forearms on an elevated surface and pull them in one at a time while we hold that position. 20 reps total. For those of you with bands, what you can do is grab the band, and there's a few ways to do this. You can either go around your wrist like this, or you can loop around the thumbs. I prefer the thumbs, and then we pull in one side of the band at a time. So you can either just use your thumb to pull in here, or again, you can put your wrists around and pull in. Sometimes like that happens, the band slides up. So just play around with it. And when in doubt, you can do this with no band involved and just pull in your arms. You're still gonna get that core stability work. Okay, so stand up, you guys, once you're done that one. 20 alternating reps, so 10 per side, don't accidentally do 40. With this one, we are pairing this with an external rotation. So this one's gonna work our rotator cuffs. This is a new one that we're doing within our strength, but we've done this before in our warm-ups quite a bit. Preferably, I'll have you guys use bands. If you do not have a band, you can just grab a towel or something to hold in your hands like this. You could do this with nothing in your hands, but you're gonna get way more if you just have something to hold. What we're going to do is hold the band like this so that my wrists, my palms are facing each other. And then I'll get myself into this 90-degree position like so. And if I don't have a loop band like this, I can use a long band, or again, maybe I have a towel across my hands like so. So what we're gonna do is find this 90-degree position, and right away, we should be starting to feel our shoulders working a little bit. What we're going to do now is pull our hands wider than our elbows. So you guys can see my elbows are sitting in here and my hands and wrists are out here. So that's that external rotation in that shoulder that we're working. And then what we're going to do is hold that outward tension, lift to our eye level, and then lower. That's 1 rep. We lift and we lower. That's 2. We're doing 10 total. That's 3. Now this one can become easy. If I flare my elbows out, it doesn't really, I mean, yeah, it kind of burns, but like not the same as if I tuck those elbows in and have those hands come out. Try that. Woo, it burns. So we're doing 10 total. Ouch. Okay. Fire in the shoulders in a weird way in our rotator cuffs. And so that's a really deep burn going on there, but that's that burn that we can work through. We're doing 10 of them. And then you guys put them down. We are going to take about 30 seconds before we go into our next set here, because, ouch, that one really burns. So shake it out. Again, quick sip of water if you'd like. We're going to go through 3 more rounds of these 2 exercises together. So we're back down on the floor. We've been hanging out on the floor a lot in this workout today, doing these renegade rows, and alternating right and left, going for 20 reps total. Now, yes, the rowing part is important in this one, but more importantly is what's happening in our hips. We're not allowing them to rotate and tilt side to side. And like any planking position, the wider your feet, the wider your base of support, the easier that it's going to be to keep our hips stable. So if you're doing this, regardless if you're up on your bench or you're down on the floor, hands on the dumbbells, off the dumbbells, it does not matter. If we widen up our feet, we'll be able to keep our hips from doing this tilting side to side, because we don't want this happening, because this means that we're not doing anything in our core and our abs to keep our hips stable. We're not resisting that turn, so we're not going to get any work in there. So let's not do that. Let's tighten them up, whether you have to widen up your feet a little bit, whatever it is. Okay. So get right into the second one. Now, you can make this one a lot harder, like I said, by just simply having your hands out wider. Like if my hands are out like this, this is going to be so much harder than if my hands are even just in line like this. So you can play around with it. The other thing we can do is just go slower. We can slow down up here, hold maybe, come back down, hold, more time, more burn. You guys already need that though. All right. Okay. So we'll rest. Okay. So I know I'm always saying like, this is the kind of burn that you can work through. That being said, everyone's body is different. And lots of us have gone through some crazy stuff with our bodies, from injuries to car accidents and stuff like that. So just because I say that you can work through a certain burn doesn't mean that that's necessarily true for you. And you really do have to look out for yourself. So anytime you feel like a sharp, stabby, pinchy, really fast, acute pain, if it's not the pain that like builds up, that like starts out and you're like, there it is, and then you can kind of work up and graduate and kind of gets bigger and bigger until it's so bad that you have to just stop, that is the good kind of pain. That's what we can work through. That sharp, pinchy, acute, quick pain, we don't want to work through that. So if that ever happens to you guys, especially with stuff with our shoulders, because I know some of us do have pre-existing shoulder stuff, and they're just sensitive. There's a lot of stuff going on in this joint. So if this ever hurts, first of all, please let me know. There's a little chat room in the comments there, or you can send me a message after and just let me know so I can help you find something that does not hurt, because it just might be one of those movements that bugs you. I know this external rotation specifically is one that kind of just sometimes aggravates old stuff that we have going on in there. So you don't do it that often. So look out for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. So you guys have one more round. One last set of these two, and then we're going to move on to the last part, which is back down on the floor. And I already told you guys that, but it is core work. And it is timer. All right. There you go. Nice work. Burning. Okay. H2O. Walk it off. Shake it out. I know that one looks like so simple. Just lifting up your arms and lowering them. And then you do it and you're like, wow. It feels. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of time here, going to our final set. You guys have technically about 3 minutes until I am going to move on to the next part. And so, awesome. There you go. Okay, so final set of our Renegade Rows. Final set of this sneaky external rotation lift. Let's get it. The last round. Nice. All right, you guys, great job. So we're going to give you about 2 minutes here before we will be starting on the floor, starting the next part here. Okay, set myself up down here, and what do I need? I don't need anything. This is body weight on the floor until the end of the class, working on our core. So you guys don't need any equipment, just your bodies and your mat. And I'll put us down here because we'll be staying down here. Okay. So once you guys are done that, grab some water. Yay. Shake out those arms, those shoulders. We're going to move on to the final part here where, yes, our shoulders can rest. There are maybe just this first one, a little bit of upper body, but nothing crazy like that. So we're going to move on to this final part here. We have 3 exercises that you guys are going to be doing down on the floor here. Again, they're all body weight and they're all for our abs and our core. The first one, welcome back, is our Turkish sit-ups. So it's been a hot minute since we've done these. We're going to be working through 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So for 40 seconds, we're going to do one side of this Turkish sit-up, which might ring bells for some of you. And then 20 seconds, we'll rest and chill and breathe and all that. And then 40 seconds on the other side. And then I have 2 more exercises that we're going to do on here. We've been there before. They're a little bit different, little tweaks, but I'll show you them on this timer. So let's talk about first these Turkish sit-ups, because it's been a little bit, and you might forget the positioning of your feet and all that. So we'll start off, okay, it's close, laying on our back with our legs bent up like so. I'm going to take this arm and send it out on a 45-degree angle on the floor, and you can start with whatever side you want. And then I'm going to extend this arm out, back, and straight over to the side. Opposite leg is going to be extended out and straight. And then what we're going to do is have lower back being pushed into the floor. Exhale, try to lift our hand and chest and everything up so that I end up on the side on my forearm, like this, high on my elbow. And then I come back down and punch my plant. And then we come up and the hand stays above the head. So I'm going to press start on this timer because we got lots of time to practice. You guys are going through 4 rounds, starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, I totally put my hand in a huge cobweb back there. I'm going to turn around. So that kind of freaked me out. Let's do this. So we're going to up onto that forearm, and you might have to play around with where your hand is on those first few reps to make this feel more natural, more comfortable. If you feel really like awkward coming up, your hand might be too close to your hips, might be too far. So just move it so that you can find a nice position there. And the goal here is to control this leg so it doesn't lift. And you guys can see it wants to on mine especially. It's been a bit since we've done these, but we'll try our best to keep that leg down. And now we rest. So 20 seconds. And we'll switch legs so that we remember what side we need to do. Switch arms. Take a deep breath or two. You guys have lots of time on the rest. And we will start our second side. Here we go. So again, we should never see our hand because the hand is staying above the head, not in front of the eyes. So we want to keep that hand lifted, which I know makes this a lot harder. So on the flip side of that, if you feel like you're really struggling with these, you can't quite get all the way up there, what you can do is have this hand in front of you to help guide you up as you start to gain strength and just overall get better at this. So we can go through 10 more seconds and trying to control that foot. I know it's totally easier said than done. 3, 2, 1, time. Good job, you guys. Okay, so we have 2 more. Next one is going to be our hollow hold dead bug. So we're on our back still. We're going to get ourselves into a dead bug position. So 90 degrees, arms up. And then what we're going to do is bring our shoulder blades off the floor and squish our back into the floor. So back into the floor, shoulder blades off. So now I'm in this kind of hollow holding position that we've done before. And then I'm going to lower opposite arm, opposite leg with an exhale. Inhale up here. 2 limbs leave, 2 stay. So these ones don't move, just the lowering ones. And then we switch. And then we switch. 15 seconds left, you guys. You got this. Let's go, let's go. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, nice work. Okay, good job, you guys. So what we're going to do for this final one, we're staying on our back here, our pelvic floor breathing. So another one that we have done before, but it's been a little bit. So the pelvic floor is the complex of muscles that runs like this, kind of like a sling in our lower abdomen area. So what we're going to do is think about all of that coming up to our rib cage. So we'll start off with inhaling and then exhaling. And I want you guys to actively pull everything in your lower tummy up into your ribs on that exhale. So inhale, and then exhale, and we're squeezing and pulling up. Sometimes this one can be kind of hard to feel and kind of hard to get in tune with, which is why I want you guys to just start laying on the floor, feet on the floor, back on the floor. You can keep going through this 20 seconds of rest if you want to practice a couple more of those reps. So you should feel that contraction coming up. So you guys now are going into your second set, back into this first one at those Turkish sit-ups. So we're extending whatever leg and arm you want to start with. And here we go for our second set. So we're Going through these ones, trying to keep our chest up, looking forward. Again, if these ones are not happening for you, you can have that arm kind of guide you up in front of yourself. We're going through 15 more seconds inside. There it is. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good job, you guys. Okay. So we're going to switch over to the other side. Switch your legs, switch your arms, starting in 10 seconds. So we'll try to do the same thing that we did on this first side. Ready, set, 3, 2, go. Let's do it. So again, chest is high. And we are breathing, trying to exhale on the way up. Have as much control as you can. We're trying not to just fall down onto the floor as much as we can. I know it's easier said than done. But try your best. 15 seconds left. There it is. Come on, a couple more of them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right. Dead bug. So we're going to do our hollow hold dead bug. So we'll lift up our legs. Get 90 degrees. We want the knees sitting right above the hips. Arms are up. Lower back's into the floor. And once we bring our shoulders off the floor, you'll feel like your lower back even gets tighter, which is what we want. So we'll tuck the chin in, and then we'll go opposite arm and opposite leg. So we're trying to, the entire time, push our lower back down. At any point, if you feel like your neck is kind of taking over and you're feeling too much in your neck, you can just relax your head. Try to keep your lower back pushing down as much as you can. And 5 seconds. One more. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so moving on to our second set of this pelvic floor breathing. Now, this is a really important part of our core work, but again, sometimes it can be hard. So we have 15 seconds. I told you we were chilling on the floor, so you guys have 2 more rounds of this stuff, and then we are done. So we're going back into the first one at the crossover crunch. You ready? Ready or not? All right, let's go. Third set. Turkish sit-up. I said crossover crunch, but it is that times 10 because it's harder. So we're coming all the way up, chest up. Now, at any point, if you guys start to feel too much stress in your lower back, if you start to get that sort of fast, acute, pinchy pain, we can always sub this one for this crossover crunch, which is just an easier version of this Turkish sit-up. As we don't have to actually sit up, we use a little bit more of the hip to help us out. And that is only if you're feeling some bad stuff. And rest. Good job. So whatever you did over here, we have to take onto the other side. So we'll rest. And get ready to start our second side of our third set. 3, 2, and here we go. So same thing as you did on the first side. Good work, you guys. Really try and use that breath. Exhaling your way up. Try to keep your chest up. Leading the way with the chest. There it is. 10 seconds left. So we'll go for a couple more controlled reps. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job. That's okay. So you can just relax your legs for a second here. Whoop, whoop. Get ourselves ready for the dead bug coming up next. So legs up, arms up. Now, if you want to make this guy a little bit harder, what you can do is move those legs away from over top of your hips. Now, even just folding this is going to be a lot harder with that leg kind of moved away like that. So if you're feeling like dead bugs are kind of easy for you, you might have your hands and feet too close. This is easy, whereas if I move them away, that is so hard. So you can definitely try that out for yourself if you would like, if and only if you were super good at these and you found them really easy by the end of the set. Besides that, I want you just focusing on lower back into the floor. 5 more seconds of it. Push it down. Get it down. 3, 2, time. Nice work. All right. So pelvic floor. 4th exercise. 3rd one, sorry, because that one's a double. So same thing as we did on that second set. If you want to kind of crank it up a notch, we can have those legs lifted up in the air. And we're trying to inhale and fill up our tummy, fill up our whole rib cage, and then we exhale, and everything down on the bottom here pulls up. And you have to think about that. It doesn't just happen. You actually have to focus on making that happen in order for it to happen. And you got 20 more seconds to think about it, focus on it. And sometimes, again, it becomes a lot easier to do without such a demanding position. So with our feet on the floor, you'll be able to actually feel that. Sometimes if you lift your legs up, now it's too hard, and so other muscles start to take over, which is why we started with our feet on the floor. And time. Nice job, you guys. Okay. Here we are. So final set. This is it. We are going to do one more round of these ones. Starting back with the first one, the Turkish sit-ups. This is the last set. Yes. All right. So get yourself ready. That's where that huge cobweb was. I'm going to put my hand in. So we're just going to move down. And let's go. So chest up. Last chance with this one, you guys. Whoa. Which means we are almost done the workout. Yeah. 15 seconds left. There it is. So use the breath, push the back down, all the things right now. I know you're tired. You got one more. And time. Good job. All right. Relax. Put your feet down. Switch your legs so that you know what side you need to do next. And remember that it's the last set of this one. It's the last round. And it starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Get yourself moving here in a nice, controlled fashion. Every single rep. Chest is up. We don't see our hand unless we need to kind of use it to help us actually be able to do this for this amount of time. But besides that, I want you guys challenging yourself to keep that hand straight and arm above our head. 15 seconds left. Yes. Let's do it. 2 more. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right. Last 2. So we have the dead bug. All right. Take a deep breath. Legs up, arms up, shoulders off the floor, chin is tucked, and here we go. Let's do it. So I'll try our best to control those arms and legs so that they do not move as much as we can. And let's coordination, connecting the brain to the body. 20 more seconds of it. Good job, guys. Most important is that that back is down. So make that happen. And that you are breathing, because we know that holding our breath does not help, especially not in core work. So keep it flowing. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Nice. Okay. Last one. Best for last. I don't know. This one, it's not necessarily the hardest, but it definitely can be challenging if you don't do this kind of thing often. More so in just connecting your brain and your body, which is super important. We do it all the time. We're going to do it right now. 40 more seconds. Here we go. So we're trying to get that inhale, filling up our tummy. Exhale, everything in the bottom comes up into your ribs. So see if you can make that happen. So we'll go through this, trying to be as controlled as possible. A couple more breaths left, 10 more seconds. So this timer is going to wait. 3, 2, 1. You guys are so done. Nice work. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick little stretch. I'm just going to start down here on the floor. Just you flipping it over onto your hands and knees and working with some of this cat, cow, to debate which one's the cat and which one's the cow. So you guys will round your back, tuck your chin in, feeling a stretch from the back of your neck all the way into the back of your hips. And then we'll take a big breath and exhale. You can look up, try to arch your back in, feel a stretch down through your core all the way up to the front of your chin. And we'll go through this about 3 to 5 times. Again, trying to breathe with the inhale, then exhale into that round. Exhale into that arch. So we're trying to loosen up our abs, our core, our lower back, the whole back, upper mid, all of it. So if you guys want to go through about a couple more of those, maybe 1 or 2 more, and then when you're ready, when you're done, you can have a seat on your heels, and then we'll walk our hands away into this position. You can relax your head on the ground if you have the mobility to do so. If not, you can just keep it lifted. For those of you with sensitive knees, you might want to have your butt lifted in the air a little bit more, and then just so your knees don't bend as much. It feels a little bit more comfortable. So we'll hold this for about 30 seconds. I know this one feels good. You could probably stay here for longer if you want, and that's totally fine. In addition to these 2 stretches, we should definitely do some stretches for our upper body. I'm going to do them standing. So, right in my mouth. So I'm going to stand you guys up here. But if you want to, go back down there, come do another set of that. You guys know it's always an option. Reaching behind our back, we just got to stretch out our shoulders. Now you can start off with this one just because it feels kind of nice and it's quick. We can do both sides at once. And it's focused more on like the front of the shoulder, middle of the shoulder here. If you want, if you have time for, you guys can go into your deeper chest, shoulder focused stretch where we have our hand on the wall. You turn away. We know the drill with this one. It really helps us to promote good posture and overall avoid this rounded position. No one wants this. And so no matter how much work we do, we still need to counteract it with some stretching. So if you're feeling like that's some stretching that you want, a minute plus held on each side, at least 1 set, maybe 2, will help you with all that. So you guys can spend some time up here. Besides that, you guys are done with me. Thank you so much, Tanis and Carly, for coming out live. You guys rock. I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. And for all of you guys, I have posted in our Facebook group, so please head there and check it out. There is some info for the upcoming months to train with me. So go in there, drop a comment, let me know when you saw the video, and I will talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Have a great day.